today, of course. Best of 3, single elimination. Pretty, as said, pretty brutal stuff. But one of these teams will continue forward into the next round. We are on Inferno. And interestingly, we can now point out that Zach is actually playing instead. So FNX will be missing for today.
That changes things a lot, actually. All the predicting that I did. I don't know anymore. I think Immortals still probably has pretty good stake here on Inferno, but definitely changes things for Cobblestone. As we are going to see just a huge rush from Liquid out of apartments. They're not messing around.
Yeah, nice start already. It's going to be Henny with the deke on the CT side. Not sure I agree with that, but it seems to work for him at least. Trades are going to come back, leaving it into this 3v3. And the bomb will be planted. Stan, the man, looking for a couple, but this deke still continues on. It's been picked up and moved into the hands of Lucas, who also has himself the kit in this 2 versus 2. Bolts with the majority of the health. Obviously, no armor either, but it's going to be the instant headshot from Nitro, leaving the Deeg alone. And it will be a triple for Nitro to finish things off, and that Deeg will live on in his hands.
It's a really fast apartments play from Liquid. There's no hesitation at all, no poking and prodding. It's straight up, let's gear up and let's just push it down their throat right away. And obviously, you know, heavy apartments pushes, even on gun rounds, are quite popular choice. You know, getting into pit and using that as a launching pad on the site is very popular. Having control of pit as a terrace is really good. And so if you can overwhelm it like that, that's definitely kind of the best way to put Glocks to use, right? I mean, just getting those close range fights and just putting it to use. So really well played. And so Immortals, of course, will just be on an upgrade pistol buy. Liquid having even more to work with as a Liege. Hardy quick to go ahead and get control of window room. Twist's going to be with him. This is their normal players for apartments control, as they like to do a lot of 2-1-2 stuff on Liquid with these pairings. Just making sure they're getting clear of window and boiler and even peeking into the long haul. So just making sure that they have all the room they want to work with. It's like they're setting up for, you know, some type of utility at middle to give the illusion they may be putting pressure there. But in reality, looks like it's going to be a heavy B hit.
Yeah, they took banana control very, very early on in this game. The one smoke has been able to deny them for at least a little bit, but with 3 players still deep in towards that A site, it's going to be down to these remaining 2. Actually going for a bit of a boost at the back of the site. So here comes all that utility. Nice shot from Lucas. We'll be able to get one. He's got support from Henny. They've at least put this into a 4 versus 5. But there's still an awful lot for them to do versus these SMGs who are just looking to get close, get up in their face, make things very difficult. They've actually got 4 players at the moment over towards the church in this retake. Could just be a nice little lineup for one of these Ts, and the remaining player is just going to be pushing in. Nitro finds one. Lucas is able to keep that man advantage alive for now. They don't have a kid in place, so they are going to have to move relatively quickly. But look how low a few of these players are. They're actually making this very costly. Only a Liege left, and they're actually going to win this round. The pistols do all of the work, and it's 1-1.
Wow, it definitely really fell apart. I mean, it looked good for Liquid at first. They did everything right in the beginning of the round. They got control of apartments, which made Immortals have to kind of respect that their presence was still there. Use some utility to hold those players in A in place, make sure they couldn't really rotate easily. And so they had a huge numbers advantage going into B. They actually did mess up their smoke and CT spawn. I don't know if people caught that, but so there was huge gaps there. And it really gave Immortals a lot easier of a time actually finding routes back into B for the retake. And it just seemed like Liquid got trapped in the back of the site and just got overwhelmed by pistols. So really well done by Immortals to kind of play their way out of a really difficult situation. I was looking like it was Liquid's round for sure, for the majority of the round, really, up until like that very end when those 3 frags went off. So crazy stuff. But Liquid, they're going to buy right back up thanks to that bomb plant. And they've already taken control of Arch side, and they're wrapping around again. No hesitation, just swarming the site.
And the flank also comes in the meantime. The site is completely lost, and well, the remaining 2 players, AK and UMP in hand. I wonder how much it's actually worth trying to push back into this site versus the quad of play, full meta in play at the moment. And I don't see a way back in. I think they're just looking for a couple of exits, hoping that somebody makes some sort of mistake. They do still have kits in play at least, but it just doesn't seem worth it. The Ts are just going to stay passive and look to keep these weapons in play until the next round.
Yeah, when you get your money reset as a CT, holding on to what you can is vital here. I mean, you have head armor, you have kits, you have guns. Sure, maybe try to get an exit frag here or there, but trying to commit to going for it. Maybe if they could have gotten a couple of quick, really fast kills and got it into a 2-on-2 very early, they would have considered going for it. That's why they kind of hung around. But once time drained, they weren't finding anything. You know, this was always going to be what they had to do. And so, yeah, Liquid, these fast plays have netted them a lot of success. You know, I mean, they just wrap Arch so fast.
Yeah, it seems like Zach's having a little bit of a hard time as well playing over towards those apartments, as it's actually the second time that somebody's actually snuck in from behind, and you just saw the complete surrounding of the remaining players on the site itself. Now, the CT side actually do get a pretty good buy on the board with the save behind it. They've got plenty of rifles to play with, made quite a bit of cash with that pistol buy that they came up with, and it's actually the T struggling here, maybe expecting the other team not to invest back in. It will be the push from Elige. He's able to get one, and it's just a brawl at the moment with Lucas doing so much with that dig. How does he get away with 3 in that position? JDM left alone, and Steel just has the easy work of cleaning up after the marvel that Lucas performed.
Holy sh... Never mind. Almost said something. That
Holy
was nuts
Subaru.
what Lucas just did with the Deagle, man. Yeah, holy Subaru, man. That was pretty nuts. That basically won the round. You know, if it wasn't for those Deagle kills, it looked like Liquid were going to overwhelm them and at least take the site, probably plant in some type of 3v3, 3v4 type situation, and have a chance to win the round, right? But then Lucas Deagle just absolutely erates all of that, because at first the Immortals were kind of struggling the whole banana, right? Like their Molotovs, or incendiaries rather, kind of went past the attacking squad, but this time it works out great because they have the follow-up. The Liquid's still actually able to enter in there. Like, brute force alone has got them in the site once more.
Even with the Nitro 1G, they're still going to have this man advantage going into the round. And while CT side this time, looking like they are going to try and get back in. There's a flank coming in from Elige, though, and that could be the death of them. It depends how quickly they're able to actually move onto this site. Molotovs are going to be going out to clear some of the angles, but actually the T side weren't playing in the back corner of the site. Elige's flank now comes into play, and the 2 players left are actually surrounded in the church, almost praying that nobody's going to come in and hunt those guns down. And JDM, well, not going to go for anything aggressive, just waiting for his teammate to take the pick. And Bolt's left alone. Very backwards and forwards game thus far. The problem is, for the T's going for these sort of buys, a lot easier than it will be for Immortals going back in.
Yeah, this time around, Liquid don't get stuck, right? They're able to actually spread out into better post-plant positions and be able to kind of surround Immortals and really kind of isolate them, not really give them a lot of space to work with to actually start getting back into the site. Also, just great work by Liquid, just, you know, on point with the shots, right? Because that looked really dirty at first, because those incendiaries from Immortals were actually really good. They had the follow-up one in front the smoke, so even though Liquid extinguished one of the incendiaries with their own smoke, there was another one right there to meet them. So they took a lot of damage because of that. And, but they still got through. I mean, again, that just kind of came down to raw brute force, raw firepower coming in for Liquid, and basically every round they've won has been off the back of that, right? Just something extremely aggressive, where they've been able to get the kills they needed, and that's really been it. Right? The rounds where they've actually slowed it down, trying to be more calculated, is the ones that they've lost. So we'll see if that pattern holds true going forward, as it's just a scrappy beginning. No one's streaked together 2 rounds in a row yet, so everyone's just force buying up as much as they can, trying to fight for economic control of this game early on.
Yeah, CT side, as you said, not really willing to give up the force buy saga as of yet. Going for this little stack as well towards the coffins once again. 2 players on top of each other. Henny and Lucas just waiting. Actually, the bomb the furthest up at the moment. A little bit risky, but going to be falling back towards that mid control. Pretty much a classic split at the moment. Just a 3-2. Heavier presence over towards that A
This is
side.
what's really harming Immortals, is that they don't have any aggression on B this time, so they have no idea what's going on, so they can't really rotate. So until Liquid does something that really makes them feel sure that it's an A hit, they're going to be stuck here, and so that early rotation's not going to be in effect for Immortals, which is obviously very powerful to have. And now Nitro's already cleanly swept through lane. Twist is waiting on the balcony, and so this A hit is going to be brutal.
And Nade at least does a little bit of damage early. Steel gets the first, just going to fall back, bait them into Zach, but he's going to completely miss, and it just allows the trades to come in. The 2 remaining players making their way through mid, but already Stan is waiting for that very rotation. He does go down. Lucas again with this Deagle. He's been on fire at the start. JDM is in that corner now. It's a very common spot, but it's quite difficult to actually clear without any sort of utility, and the way that Twist is playing off him is almost just sort of a bait play. Gets the first, and now it's all onto Lucas. He's done well with this Deagle so far, knows where his opponent is, may just look to spam, but JDM, he's sort of the snake in the grass in the corner, spams away, but not quite enough bullets in the clip. And well, we're finally going to see a 2 streak of rounds, as Liquid will send them back to Eco.
Yeah, it looked good at first. Zach actually did well to play patient inside the smoke on the balcony and be kind of the snake in the grass, as you alluded to, but just missed his shot. Lucas almost reeled it back in with the deagle again, though. His deagle has definitely been on point, won them around earlier on in the game, and it almost brought him back into that one, but just not enough. I think Liquid did really well to play off angles, playing on top the boxes. You could see the crosshair was definitely pre-aimed at headshot level on the floor, and that really kind of saved Twist's life. It forced the player to have to flick and not maybe get off the first shot accuracy he wanted, not have that pre-aim available. And that helped Liquid get that into a 2-on-1. So really well played there by Liquid. Again, Immortals, though, not conceding. They're still buying up, basically everything that they can. They're not taking any type of sacrifice or any type of save. They're up on upgraded pistols again. Head armor on everyone. UMP on steel. Have a little bit of utility at their disposal as well. And Liquid are kind of slowing it down because they may not know exactly what they're up against just yet. They may not realize that Immortals have forced again. They may think that maybe they finally conceded, and then they're going to take a bit more of a save and do some type of stack or gimmick type play. So they're definitely just making sure that they're using their utility to get map control, not biting off more than they can chew. They already have a lot of map control as is by pressuring mid and still having top and end.
Yeah, looking to wrap around. In fact, only one man is going to be left over towards this B site. This fake over towards Archers has caught them off guard, and now Elise is just going to be there to hold off any sort of rotations as forced by pretty much based off the fact that only one player survived in the last round. It is not looking good, but Zach will be able to get one more. If this kill comes in for Bolts, then maybe they have an opportunity, but the range just not working out for him in this sort of circumstance, and by the looks of things, they're out of this round.
Yeah, Liquid have basically won the opening duels in every round that they've played, right? Immortals has won their rounds based on recovery, whether it was Lucas's deagle at Banana, which brought them back into a round, or whether it was that big retake that we saw obviously early on. But all the initial exchanges have been won by Liquid. Anytime that Elige or Nitro, what have you, want to push up middle, they're always winning that opening fight. And even the battles they've taken at Banana, even despite being in disadvantageous situations at times because of like good utility uses by Immortals, they've just still broken through. And you have to wonder if that's going to continue. Obviously, we still haven't seen Immortals, get an op in Henny's hands or have full rifles across the board. Something to match up with what Liquid's working with now. But for Liquid, you feel like we should have won all 7 of these rounds, actually. Like the way that we've been, getting early advantages throughout the game.
Yeah, this time, I think we are finally going to see a break to the Force buys for Immortals. Now, in terms of their next round buy, they will have, of course, 2,900 added into their account. So that could be the first entry of the AWP. I do find it quite interesting, though, that they are sort of going so heavy on these forces when you have such an influential AWPer that's just going to be hindered by this.
Yeah, I mean, he took no armor on this round, but still is CZ, so maybe that's going to help him get an AWP relatively soon, as we are going to see Liquid again, no hesitation, up lane, already finding 2 entry steal, lurking around the smoke to stay alive, so he might be able to hunt one down for free. He will, in fact, pick up Stanislaw and a gun for his trouble, so at least he's got a 3-on-3. He's got a gun in play. Gives him somewhat of a chance, but no armor, really no utility, no kits. Retaking still going to be extremely difficult with aim punch involved.
Yeah, the one big thing to note, still a couple of low players over on the opposing side. An AK has been picked up by Henny. It looks like if they can find something quickly here, they are going to opt to go into this round. The problem is nothing really goes their way, and well, in terms of the AK, that has to be taken out of the round. It's not really worth just keeping that, or well, keeping that in play, fighting against the rifles. Shot will come in though for Steel. Again, Elige tagged down, almost goes, and the bomb won't quite be able to take him out of the round. He should be able to escape with his life twist, just sitting in the corner. Common spot.
Almost wonder if the UMP was worth backing off as well. I mean, it's still a very powerful gun. Not an M4, of course, but still has its value, especially with the money bonus it can get. There's definitely a lot of fights you can take at close range with the UMP as well on this map, where maybe that was worth holding on to as well. But regardless, they had the op in Henny's hands. He's one of the oppers that's very B dominant. Almost all the Brazilian oppers are. Fallen, Yell, Henny. That's kind of what separates the Brazilian oppers from many others, is that they're just so B heavy. Sure, certain double op setups will include a lot of B heavy opping, but most oppers like to play from Arch, be more of a rotator, be able to like float around the map. But Henny is B probably a good 85% of the time.
Oh, quick
but
again!
Bypassed, of course.
Oh, Lee's just starting things off with 2 almost easy kills onto the players, just trying to boost up. And well, now 3 versus 2 off the plum position. Henny, he hasn't even seen anyone. He hasn't had a chance to shoot off that AWP. It's going to have absolutely no impact. Again, just they're almost hoping for a mistake in this sort of round, because it's not really worth going for anything too much if you have that AWP still in play. And, well, with Henny able to drop something in the next round with the max loss bonus coming in, it just seems almost sane to go and save the weapons. But just quick plays, completely catching them off guard at the moment, and
It's
their
tearing
control
through
of
middle
mid
for
just isn't
Liquid's like
working.
tearing through a wet paper bag right now, man. There's just nothing there stopping them from taking mid control and getting control of brackets at first level of middle. There's really nothing stopping them from wrapping around either. Like, they've met really no resistance at taking the A-bomb site. Like, they really haven't met resistance yet this game on initial entries. It's just crazy. Like, they're just sweeping through. Like, they're bullying Immortals right now. Immortals have shown nothing yet, short of Lucas having some really crazy antics. There really hasn't been a whole lot there. And yeah, they just completely bypass Henny's AWP. They just rush up middle. Just the speed at which Liquid is hitting them is intense, and Immortals is not handling it very well.
Double orb setup has come into play. JDM on the T side as well. Utility damage seems to be quite a lot. Nitro straight through the flames, but it seems like they've come out on the worst end of it. Henny finally having his impact with that orb. Twist will be able to find one, but it's instantly traded back by Zach into a 3 versus 2. Finally, an advantageous position.
Early skirmish won by Immortal sets them up nicely. It looks like they'll just finish things off as Steel takes out Stanislaw, who was trying to just kind of prod around in the middle and see if there was any space there to be found. There was not. And so JDM will be left in a pretty much impossible 1v3 with the health that he has. And yeah, there you have it. It's actually double AWP for Immortals right now, so they'll have it on both sides of the map going forward. And that's really where, when Immortals has the money and they have an op in Hades' hands, taking Banana for them gets more difficult. They can time their nades very well. You can see, once again, the Incendiaries definitely threw Liquid for a loop, and then Henny was hitting some really nice shots with the AWP. So now that they have that in order, I think Liquid are going to start finding it more difficult to just take early map control as they have been. They're going to have to be a bit more calculated and spend a little bit more of their own utility and spend a little bit more time kind of clearing things out. So this might be where you start seeing them slow things down, especially since JDM has an AWP. That usually means you're going to want to play a little bit slower to see if he can have a chance to find a pick of some sort.
Yeah, once again, early banana control seems to be the aim of the game. Something you mentioned actually in the pregame, that it needs to be something that Liquid need to counter. And so far, they've either been just running straight down mid, or they have actually been able to get through those smokes and do the damage. And once again, they're falling back to this A site, but it's Steel with the AWP to start things off, something they haven't encountered thus far when trying to hit onto this A site. And it has seemingly stumped them a little bit, slowing right down, trying to actually go for a bit of a boost. I say trying because, in fact, Nitro is going to be lost because of it. Just a failed boost, not working out at all, and they really have just got stopped in their tracks, waiting to try and find something. Elige will be the man to do it. Gets the first steal in a decent position, though. Will be able to trade back, but it's come down to a 1v2. It's JDM with that AWP. He knows where one of his opponents is. The other is far away, but Steel, 4 kills with that orb, and clearly that's the setup they want to be having.
Yeah, Steel did really well to close down the previous round with AWP, and this time he's just the main defenseman in all of it. Quad kill. Hold off A so well. Finally, there's been something there to meet Liquid when they've looked to take things aggressively. You know, they've been getting apartments control with these, but they did not break through middle that time around. Steel did a great job really holding that off. And so now Immortals is showing us some life, and they've actually finally kind of cracked Liquid. Now they have to take one of these 4 spies, which is Tech 9s and a lot of utility, and they're going to waste no time charging through B with all of it.
Will be the nades doing so much along with that AWP of Henny, and this is easy. Cleaned up. I think that early utility that they're throwing out is just denying Liquid any hope with those aggressive pushes.
Yeah, the only thing you can hope to do is try to counter some of those incendiaries with your own smokes and just try to push through all that. But if you only, you know, extinguish one of them and there's still another you have to run through, you're still going to take that damage. And I think Lucas also just kind of slowed them down because he was playing up close by the wall, right? So that means you have to kind of stop, fight him. That's going to means that you have to spend more time inside the incendiary, or just giving more time for Henny to set up with the AWP and find an extra frag or two. And so, yeah, absolutely shut down was Liquid in that round again. So Immortals, they've now won 3 in a row. So they're really starting to fight back in this half. They're really starting to find their footing. And even in this round, they've already gotten an early pick onto Twist. He has been taken down by Zach. I believe that was towards the apartments, as Twist normally plays up there. So this is a good start in round number 13 for Immortals.
Yeah, once again, aggressive push coming out. They are being slowed down. They're trying to do the same wrap that they previously achieved and going straight through the smoke, but there is Zach. Lines them up. One of them is stolen away by Steel. But it is just, they're stuck again. The bomb is all the way on the site. The remaining 2 players are going to have to just try and push straight back into the firepower, but somehow this is working out. Zach goes down. Steel falls as well. A missed shot. Lucas will lose his life, and now Henny is the only one left. It's the battle of the AWPers. JDM is attempting to run away, but it may seem like
he's
Henny
out of there.
is aware.
He's way out of there. He's definitely going to make it over here to be... Wait, what? Okay, nice. So he's using that as a fake that he was smoking CT rotation to plant. Henny will be very confused why in the hell it's in the well. Henny's probably like, why is this smoke there? he's so confused. He's looking inside of it. He has no idea that smoke should not be there. Henny's still juked, though. He still thinks it's B. It still worked for JDM somehow.
Oh, now he's set up as well. Ready and waiting. Should hear his opponent running around. And, well, this should just be easy for him. Knows exactly where Henny is going to be. Looking like he's trying to bait out the shot. However, and Henny, how does he get that kill? Just ducks in and takes their clean off JDM. It may have been a messed up smoke, but that is ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness, JDM. Oh, man, even though he botched the smoke, he still played the situation out fine. You know, the whole point of that smoke was to make Henny think that I'm planning B. And that smoke should have landed in, like, the default spot, right? To kind of block off the CT rotation so you could plant safely. So he definitely had the right idea about it, but he just botched it. And then, even after that, though, he still got in a good position and just missed his shot. And Henny did not, right? He just taps him out with the CZ, and so Immortals still win the round. That is just a comedy of errors of a round right there, that's for sure. That's a fun one to watch back and just kind of crack a laugh at.
Triple AWPs? Question mark.
That is... What is this circus of a game now? We're just playing Counter-Strike at this point. See if it works, though.
So far, not so good. Lost Steel. One of the AWPs is already down. It's back to the more standard double AWP setup. Twist going back to re-attempt this matchup. It's actually an aggressive apps push. I think because Twist has been going in that direction so often, they looked to directly counter him, but it hasn't worked out. The triple AWP is back in play. This is going to be absolutely horrific if it comes down to a reset scenario, but the one rifle is able to even things up at least.
Get it back to a 4-4, and Twist has been spotted by Bolts, I'm pretty sure. When he stepped in the closet, I'm pretty sure he did see that gun barrel at brackets, so he has a good idea that at least one guy's here. Now he definitely hears a second with JDM's AK ringing off, so he has good information on what's happening, and he does have Zach, who's still playing back towards pit to watch any type of push towards lane. But in the meantime, we've had a couple of other fights across the map. Still an advantage, though, for Immortals as we get into the late round. This shot there from Lucas, that's massive. That gets Liquid back into the round a bit, as now the defense is split up. Late round 2v2. Liquid do need to make a decision here pretty quickly on what they want to do. As Nitro is very low on HP here at Banana. Trying to make sure he can hold someone in place and even buy a rotation with that smoke, and he has. He's gotten Henny off. But he's also trying to break through Zach inside pit.
This looks like the round of missed AWP shots at the moment. 2 people to aim at. The lucky thing is there's not much time. JDM has to get onto the site, but Zach just can't connect the shots. And with 1 second left, JDM will get this plant down. Henny, he may not be so kind with his shots. Going with the CZ once again. Can't quite connect. This time he's not getting it all in one, and maybe knocks his jump key a bit there as JDM will be handed the frag.
Definitely don't think he meant to jump there. Yeah, Zach missed a couple of key AWP shots. Definitely hurt. The key one that he missed was when JDM jumped into the site. If he hits that, probably wins off the clock even if he dies, right? Because there's no way the bomb can get planted. His teammate is still pretty safely tucked in the art, so there's no risk of him going down too early. So yeah, if he could have hit that one shot on JDM, that probably changes everything. But the fact that JDM was able to get in and plant kind of ensured it for Liquid. They have 8 rounds on the board now in the last round of the half, and 9th round is looking pretty promising given what Immortals has to work with here. Already taken some damage as well over at Banana, and Henny not going to find anything with that boost. He's been chased off already, and so Liquid again are going to be able to find pretty fast map control all across of it.
Double AWPs now actually on the T side. Not something I think we normally condone, but obviously in these sort of circumstances, we expect that the CT side are going to have to throw something into the works. They have been playing very passively in these sort of force-up pistol rounds, not finding out a whole lot of information early on. We did see them go for a few peaks, a boost, in fact, over towards that B site. But look at the position of Stan. He's already got into the close crevice, and while Liege with the double over towards that A site is going to make things very difficult from here on out.
Yeah, with it being a 5-on-3 and this much time to work it out, it's going to be so hard for Immortals to play back into it. Like, you can manipulate the rotations as much as you want now because you have the time to, force Immortals to gamble. It's going to be difficult stuff. You have a lead going to take a 1v1 with Zach over here at A, so he's going to hold him in place. This makes Henny a difficult spot on how to rotate. Now B's been taken down. It's just all crumbling at this point. So Liquid, they will take a 9th round unless Zach just pulls off a miracle, and that's not going to be the case. Twist quickly deletes him off the map, and so Liquid, a very powerful half of 9-6, and they probably could have gotten a couple of more as well. There was definitely some rounds that were quite close, and it took a miracle for Immortals to secure it.
Yeah, in the early sort of rounds, I do have to sort of look at that triple AWP round and think what on earth was going on there for Immortals. Like, we sort of have that streak coming in, and then they try and throw that weird spanner in the works. And although, like, the highlight thing was that Zach missed a few shots, he wasn't the only one. There were multiple players, like Lucas at the beginning didn't hit the shot onto Twist. I think it was Bolts in the corner, then gets caught out by a Molotov. It just was a bad round for them in general. And, well, that was sort of the ending couple of rounds that just gave the half win at least over.
The only promising things that seemed to happen for Immortals is Steel had a really big round with the AWP once. He had like a quad kill round, so that was a really big round that they won. Pretty much won a round by himself by doing that. Henny, once he got the utility and the AWP at Banana, he was definitely playing a lot better. He was getting some good kills at the beginnings of rounds to finally start denying Banana control to Liquid. So, I mean, those were a couple of the high marks. And obviously, Lucas had the big Deagle round, right?
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen enough, and it didn't happen soon enough. Like, the game already kind of spiraled out of control within the first, I don't know, like 8 rounds of the game or something like that. Like, I mean, Liquid already had such a massive lead whenever they were up 7-2, that even with that comeback towards the end, they would have had to win out to really feel good about this half, and they just didn't get it done in those last couple of rounds. So, well played by Liquid. I was actually a little bit concerned about them, though, because I feel like they were never really making the adjustment. Like, they were playing super aggressive most of the half, and even when Immortals started shutting it down, it didn't seem like Liquid slowed down or tried to pivot into something else. Or they just kept kind of, hammering their head up against the wall. But eventually it works and they win 2 more rounds, right? So I guess, it didn't really matter. And again, there was so many rounds where Liquid almost made it even harsher, right? If JDM wins that 1v1 against Henny and that like clown fiesta round that we watched, then, that's double digits for Liquid. And even just the first round that Immortals won was like a crazy retake that probably shouldn't have worked, right? So definitely when you look at this half and you look at the scoreboard, it looks like a close game. Really wasn't. Liquid were well in the driver's seat of the majority of the game. And obviously you have to wonder how much it hurts Immortals that FNX is not here. He's obviously a very powerful player. Zach hasn't played at a top competitive level in a very long time. I actually wonder why that's the case, by the way. I don't know if anyone can like tweet at me or something, because I actually didn't hear anything about this until the game went live. I know some people in chat were talking about it, but I didn't see anything posted on social media or any type of explanation on what happened. I don't know if this is like FNX has left the team or if this is just like Zach has to stand in because FNX couldn't make it today. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not really in the loop on that whole situation. So if anybody can shoot me a message, that'd be really cool to know what's going on.
Yeah, and it did, like, even though mentioned it in sort of the previous rounds where there were some that seemed that Liquid actually threw away, there was like a couple of rounds as well where you kind of think, okay, if this was the full team, maybe that doesn't quite go down in a similar sort of way. Like, in terms of apps control, it definitely seemed like, other than maybe one round, I think Twist won that duel nearly every single time. And it's just one of those, like, they even had to try and switch it up. They went, okay, still, you're going to go aggressive there with an AWP because we're just losing this spot too often. So
yeah, because that's the thing. Like, Bolts and FNX as a combo as 2 really good side anchors, and they're anchoring a site together on Inferno, made their CT defense so powerful. It's like one of the biggest reasons I felt Immortals were successful on Inferno for so long, in online play and offline play, was the fact that trying to break their defense is actually tough because Henny can be such an overwhelming force on the B side of the map with his AWP with Lucas, and then FNX and Bolts together anchoring pit and apartments, trying to break through that can also be extremely difficult. And so when those things are clicking simultaneously, you feel like you're not finding a lot of room on your terrorist side against them. So yeah, the fact that that kind of broke down, for one, not having the economy to really fuel Henny's op for much of the game, or the utility required to choke off Banana, and then like you noted, like having trouble in apartments, Twist winning all those duels, that meant that everything crumbled.
Yeah, I think as well, like Elige, as usual, it seems at the moment, has just been on point. Like a lot of the entry kills they had were just him running through smokes, him going aggressive. I think Nitro had a few moments as well, and JDM, apart from the mess of a round that we witnessed, has been doing well with the AWP, like stepping up when
Yeah.
it is needed. So it's sort of just one of those circumstances where, like, obviously you don't want to take anything away from Liquid, but it does look like this having a player missing is going to affect you big over on that CT side. The one thing that it could do though is maybe free them up a little bit more on the T side, like let those individual players have their sort of free reign of the map, because obviously you're not playing with your sort of full roster. The pressure is kind of off a bit.
Again, it felt like Liquid like you said, Elige was winning all of his opening duels. They were able to just kind of rush through middle. It seemed like they found the holes in Immortals, kind of found their weak points and exploited them, and they just seemed on better form overall. As we are just waiting for this second half to start, should be starting off soon. Apparently, one of the Liquid guys had to restart their PC to fix some FPS issues, and so they will be right back. But while we're waiting on that, what you can do is actually get in on this giveaway. You can just click the graphic down below, the giveaway game in the fast lane, as we are giving away some Logitech peripherals, a Revolt PC, as well as an Asus 144 hertz monitor. We're also giving away lots of mouse mats. I think 250 of those are going out as well. So lots of prizes that you can get in on, and it takes really no time at all while you're waiting anyway. You can just go ahead and click on that and get involved.
Yeah,
get some free
well,
stuff.
The other thing you can do is actually tweet towards Subaru, like coming up with your ideas, what you want to see at this tournament, like what you want to, well, not at this tournament, at the next one, because Subaru, new to esports, obviously coming in with this tournament to almost as a taster, showing you what they can do, bringing in some of the top teams in the Americas, and basically they want to know what you think, what you want to see, what sort of tournaments, what style of tournament do you want? GSL? Do you want it to, I don't know, do you want the sort of pick versus your opponent? Like if you win your match, you pick who they play next. Suggest something. Maybe you have an idea that no other sort of organization has been willing
that
to listen
Subaru
to.
should give Dustin Impreza. Maybe you think that that's a thing that should happen. Maybe you should tweet at Subaru_USA. Be like, take care of your commentators, guys.
I can't even drive, but I'll have one. I'll just sit in it.
Well, that just means that only Dust needs one, so that'll save you some money. See, I'm thinking about you guys out there, really. That's what we need. I still haven't gotten any word about the whole FNX situation. I've been traveling, so it's been kind of a whirlwind for me to kind of keep up on what's going on. So, again, it definitely hurts that Immortals can't field their full five for this tournament. No doubt about that. And Liquid, they're off to a roaring start on an Immortals map pick, which I think was the map that they had to clear advantage on in the series when I was thinking about them with their full five. So it becomes very scary that Liquid are kind of tearing through them like this on their home ground, basically, that they've been usually fairly dominant on. Does not spell good things for Immortals. They may quickly find themselves out of this tournament unless some of these guys can start stepping up and winning some of these fights. We do have 10 players in the server and ready, so hopefully we're going to get started here soon.
Yeah, I feel like especially on this map as well, I feel like if they don't get Inferno going onto Cobble, a map that, well, we were stating that is more balanced in terms of these two teams, it's sort of one of those things that if this goes the way of Team Liquid, then I feel like Cobble is almost likely to do the same.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that I'm not seeing much out of Immortals. I mean, we've had a couple little moments where a big individual play happened for Immortals, but nothing consistent, nothing that's been chained together, nothing that makes you feel comfortable about how things have gone for them in this game. And so certainly Liquid are sitting in the driver's seat of the series at this point. They've done a lot of damage in that first half, and as long as they can, win pistol, avoid making any errors on their CT side, they should be, walking away at this first map rather quickly the way things have played out. As we do see them putting a little bit more focus on B to kick things off. They even did the boost as well, and they could actually use Stanislaw's bait to sell if this boost isn't happening, right? If Stanislaw peeks from his angle and you have Nitro at Coffin, then would you really expect someone boosted at the same time? So that could definitely play an effect later on, but already a lot of damage being done to JDM on the other side of the map.
And this could be quite unfortunate considering they have gone for that heavier set up over towards this B site. Rotation already beginning from stand, so not really dedicating too early on, just in case a rush comes in. Very common over on this pistol, and Lucas peeking into the angle will get the first, and this is the explosion from this T side. They've already cleared out the whole of A. The bomb may be quite far away. In fact, the CT will get there first, but this should be over. Nitro at least going to try and make the scoreline a little bit better off, but now it's all Elige. He was great in the first, but this is going to have to be ridiculous. One for him. He has spotted it out. Bomb going to be coming down. Zach from behind, but they know exactly where he is. And no, there's no hope.
How is he still alive? He survived way longer than I thought he would there when he's just getting crossfired from library in sight, and didn't matter though. Didn't amount to much. As you could even tell, Immortals weren't thinking it was going to go that easy. I mean, they had the bomb waiting at B the entire time. Then all of a sudden they just get 3 kills, and they're like, well, never mind. We'll just take it over here. No need to even bother with B at that point. And so a very dominant pistol round victory for Immortals. They will make the score gap now 7-9, so right on Liquid's heels right away. Of course, we are going to see the force up here from Liquid. Full CZ armor across the board. No 5-7s on this team. Everyone favoring the CZ.
Well, after seeing what Henny can do with it, I don't really blame them. They'll take on an AWP and win comfortably.
It's one of the things with the CZ, like the only big thing that got nerfed was the draw speed, right? And so if you already are going to have it out at all times, you're not going to have to switch weapons. It's not like you have an AWP and you want to switch to it. You can just already have the gun out and in angles that matters. And that's why I think a lot of people are going back to the CZ, because they've realized that, well, nothing really changed with the gun that much other than the speed. And in rounds like this, that doesn't factor in.
Going to be waiting the push, about to come in round arch side. Dan is going to be waiting, doesn't actually check the angle at all. And again, they still didn't really know where he was. And that's already 2 kills coming in. Henny very low on HP as well. This could be exactly what we saw in the previous, where this second round just looked very, very good at the moment for Liquid. The rest of the team are going to come rotating it over towards this A site. But once again, as we saw in the first half, this sort of slow down just doesn't really work. You get pincered into these angles. They're trying to clear everything at once, but with 30 seconds on the clock, they really have to make their move, and there's already 3. Make that 2 players, though, as Lucas has been able to pick one. JDM in the corner should be able to add one more to the death toll. And look at the HP of the remaining 2 players. This is just working out wonderfully at the moment for Liquid. 14, 13, countdown is on, and there is absolutely no way they're getting out of this round.
No, not at all. The clock is already drained all the way. Now Lucas can only just hope that he can hold on to this AK, but CTs are going to be swarming him. He's even actually taking this fight even though the clock is expired. Why, though? Your window was already gone to actually go for kills at that point, I feel like. Really probably should have stayed hidden. I don't know. He did have low HP. Maybe you feel like you're getting chased down. You got to give yourself a chance, but yeah, just didn't work out there. Liquid just picking them apart with those CZs all across the map. I think that initial fight at Arch was the most damning. You know, getting the kill and doing a lot of damage to a second player, really whittling down the life force of Immortals. And look at Immortals, they're already basically saving, right? I mean, yeah, a couple of pistols, but no armor, no utility. They've already conceded. They want to make sure they can get their money going for the future round. It means that Liquid have a great chance at an 11th.
Yeah, the problem being, though, is obviously Lucas's death has left them in a situation where he's going to have no money coming in. Like, obviously, in the last round, he gets nothing, so he's going to be behind when it comes to the economy game, and this sort of round is just going to be perfect for Liquid to actually build up that cash early on. Elige with that trusty once again, and now Steel, the only man left alive, looking to at least try and get somebody down. He's going to pre-fire, but nothing he can do. No armor. Aim punch will remove him, and flawless round coming in for Liquid.
Lucas dropped from the server, but he did get right back in, so no need for any type of technical pause, which is nice. But Immortals still not going to have a whole lot to work with in this round. We'll see if they can't top themselves off with a little bit of firepower, but someone like Lucas and Henny are taking full Glock saves, so just putting a little bit of investment on a couple players that had enough money to do so without it kind of hamstringing the team. Obviously making sure they can get that full buy in the next round, so Liquid have really kind of cracked Immortals, so to speak, to make sure they can get a couple of easier rounds early on in this half. And they're already up to no good in the departments.
Yeah, just these UMPs going aggressive, farming up as much cash as humanly possible. The push will come in, but at the moment it's looking like we may just be getting another flawless style round. At least Steel will ruin that at the very last second by taking off the head of Twist, but his situation is just hopeless. Gonna go jumping through the smoke. But Stan is there to finish. 4 players alive, money built up already for this CT side, and finally we're gonna have a buy on the board for the Ts.
Yeah, and usually Immortals are a slower paced team on this map. Usually just play default banana control, apartments control, and just kind of work from that once you get kind of your foundations. Obviously, players like Henny, though, can be very aggressive and just try to be a playmaker and assert themselves. And so you certainly could see them taking some aggressive duels in certain areas of the map. But in general, they play at a slower pace. So maybe not as fast as what you saw from Liquid throughout the majority of the game. But Lucas wasting no time making sure that he's holding off top banana. Trying to put in some damage to the smoke, not allow them any space to just kind of suffocate them on this side of the map. Have Steel, getting control of window room. Or I was thinking about it, actually dropped down, now just kind of chilling out for a second, but now he will go for it.
Man, 2 players currently sat towards the back and second, so just going to be waiting for this push to come in, but the rotation is going to take way too long, and Liquid already are going to be out of this round by the looks of things. The rotation will be in, but they're going to have to find something very, very quickly. There's Stan looking up, actually spots Bolt. Doesn't quite manage to finish him. With money in their side, they could actually go for something here. Henny holding the angle is actually going to miss the shot completely, allowing them to get a little bit closer, and it looks like Liquid may still be trying to find something in this round. A lot to do. Actually going to go spraying through the glass, hoping that they can get a little bit of luck on their side. At the moment, the Ts are just waiting patiently. They don't have a whole lot of utility to play with at the moment, but the thing is, the smokes are just holding them back. Lucas will get one. Stan trying to push back in, but it'll be JDM to fall, and if anything, just keeping this AK in play seems like the right idea. We'll even remove the AWP from Henny as well, which that's going to be massive.
Yeah, because they won't have one next round now. No one can afford one. So that's big. That takes a big tool out of the box of Immortals, so to speak. To not have that in play, their options maybe just a bit. But well done. Immortals just kind of walked into banana, right? Like, they didn't really meet any resistance anymore. Liquid kind of bailed back into the site. And they just walked in, and Lucas actually peeked out before the spawn smoke went down. So I think he caught a timing that Liquid didn't expect. Came a little bit earlier than maybe Liquid anticipated. Was able to get a nice opening pick because of that. So well done by Lucas. Good intuitive play there from him on that timing. And so Immortals do have another round on the board. Still 4 away though from tying this thing up, and Liquid's still able to put in a pretty good purchase. In fact, they had the better buy in this round despite the fact that Immortals won the previous.
Yeah, that second round force enabled them to get a lot of money built up, but again, going to be that early kill going the way of the T side, and they're once more just looking to try and take control over towards this B side. They forced a rotation already from Stan, leaving only 2 players over towards A, and they're just sitting pretty, just waiting to see if the CT will make any further aggression. Bolts is going to be sat in this corner. Now this should be expected from the CT side, and they're actually going to go back and go for a bit of a boost.
Always trying to see if they can't throw a curveball. It's actually going to be a mid-B split here. You can see Immortals had actually already gotten up Arch. Lucas is in the CT spawn. Now, Liquid know this is happening. Stanislaw is positioning himself for the Arch portion of this attack, but it means that his teammate has to try to hold on for dear life while Stan deals with CT spawn. Stan's done pretty well, and Nitro's able to kind of just box himself in. Look at Nitro go! These kills are incredible! He was getting pinched from 2 sides and still wins with the quad kill, and basically just wins the round for his team. That was so well managed by Nitro. Holy cow.
Well, the thing there is, without Nitro's performance, that round looked dead to rights. The 2 players on A had yet to move a muscle, even after finding all of the information out that they were rotating through CT spawn. So if he goes down even 1 for 1 or 1 for 2, that's a site completely in the control of the Brazilians. So massive round from him. And
I mean, Stan did do well to get the 1 kill at least to stop Nitro from getting blindsided, to give him a little bit more time to be able to kind of maneuver around, get that 1 kill up banana, and still be able to react to CT. But still, a lot of that was just on Nitro having a great individual effort. And that could be one of the final nails in the coffin for a team like Immortals, who is running out of money at this point. Luckily, in this round, Bolt's able to find an opening pick pretty early on a Liege.
Lucas, with a bit of a pre-fire, does find a bit of damage onto JDM with that AWP. Again, a similar setup to what we saw in the previous round. Once more looking to take over some banana control and possibly to split through. But this time it seems that JDM may be a little bit more aware of that possibility.
So I've been slowed down since Immortals got the advantage, right? They just want to work this 5-on-4 methodically, but Bolts is going to be the one to start cracking in. But Nitro, he's still alive. He had a big round last round, trying to hold on.
Oh, not quite this time. It is only going to be that 2-for-1. And, well, the difference maker, look at where these Ts are holding. They're both waiting for these rotations, just leaving him alone on the site. Nobody going to be able to get through at the moment as Lucas is that second player. So smart from this T side. And as he tries to get through, Steel is already waiting, holding off those rotations perfectly. And that will be another round on the board for Immortals.
It's almost one of those things that's a little bit risky, right? Because if you leave those two guys over there, that kind of lightens the load on how much you have to push into B, right? Like, you don't have as many attackers to trade your way in. But luckily, the couple of guys that did go in were able to trade out Nitro. And so all of a sudden, that dice roll kind of pays off because now you can really cut off those rotates and basically give Liquid no chance in setting up for any type of retake. Liquid's still able to buy up, though. It is a little bit light, 3 UMP, so it's not everything that they could want. But they still have the AWP and JDM's hands, and they're moving him around. He's going to be at B this time, trying to make him dynamic in his positions. And Nitro just keeps finding kills over here on the B side of the map. He's really warmed up on this TT side.
He's been one of the anchors over towards that B side. Actually looks to go aggressive, possibly overstating his boundaries there as he leaves it now into a 4 versus 4. And he's actually one of the rifle players as well.
Yeah, I felt like he just got kind of stuck there in closet and was trying to find a way out and just couldn't. Trying to fade back in. So now we do have a 4-on-4. So the advantage has been kind of wiped off the board. In fact, Immortals is now the one who's really kind of a better spot, right? Usually 4-on-4s are going to favor Terrace. You can do a little bit more with manipulating rotations. Another trade here in middle, and Lucas wins it in a 2-for-1 duel, basically getting both the picks at bracket. So this is great news for Immortals.
All onto Twist, and at range, that UMP isn't so deadly, so we can see he's just going to try and play passive. They clear Pit, leaving this as really the only spot they need to check, and Zach will do just that. Leaves JDM out of this round. Again, may just look to try and find an X. I think 1v3 with an AWP is not the sort of position that he wanted to be in. And actually, in terms of the money now for Liquid, this is where things really begin to become difficult.
Yeah, they did get heavy-handed into that last round, trying to see if they couldn't break and reset Immortals and basically set themselves up for the win, right? If you win this round, basically Immortals have really no money to buy when you go for a map point, but they're probably going to, so they don't want to play for the tie. And so you wind up in a situation where Immortals is just going to do like a double force buy. And so if you're Liquid, you're up against 2 lighter buys to just win the game. And that's what they were playing for. But that didn't work out, right? They've lost this round. All that they'll save is JDM's AWP, and everyone's on very low money, and their own money's been reset, right? They only have a 1 loss bonus coming in. So now they're the ones that are up against the ropes. They're actually going to have to probably just take a save, maybe get a couple of upgraded pistols around the AWP. But this is where Immortals can actually tie this game up now, in the home stretch where Liquid, you know, went for a force buy that did not pay off.
Yeah, a few upgraded pistols. Not a whole lot to play with. 2,400 will be added into the next round, but even then, that's not a particularly good position to be in. JDM will be left around the 3,600 mark, nowhere near enough for that AWP. They're going to have to try and make something work here. He's going very aggressive with that AWP. I like the style. Going to try and get something done, but he's just going to be naded down to oblivion. 28 HP is all that remains. 3 players currently reside in that spot. Twist spamming away, but can't quite connect anything at this moment in time. Zach will get tagged low, but so many players already.
Right. Every gimmick that Liquid went for just didn't pay off. And it's understandable that you would do that in a round like this. You don't have a lot to work with. You have to make risky plays to give yourself a chance to win. And they've done some damage to Zach, and they've definitely slowed Immortals down on a couple of their early pushes. But now as things begin to settle, and Immortals have more time to think about things, they've already done a lot of damage. It's going to be so hard for Liquid to hold on.
AWP has moved, though. JDM now waits to hold off this arch side. They are going to push straight into it, but Lucas just takes his head clean off. absolutely decimates the AWP, and now we're back to this wraparound once again. The pistols, all that remained as the orb that was their only hope, is gone. And now the rotations from the last couple of players are just trying to capture a gun and leave this site.
From JDM's perspective, that looked like he was in midair when he got killed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Lucas did actually land and got the bullet just as soon as he landed. Obviously, sometimes it can look a different way depending on what perspective you're watching from. But yeah, that looked like a midair headshot. So it's pretty insane. Definitely, if you're JDM, you're probably a bit triggered that happened like that. It looked like he had him dead to rights, and then just gets absolutely waxed in the face. So this is what we were talking about, right? Liquid now have to tap out, and so Immortals actually, even though they've been well behind the majority of this game, here all of a sudden, in the last few rounds, they've been able to fight right back. These last 5 rounds, basically, been a huge difference maker for Immortals.
It's just going to be the straight slaughter in middle. Dan will be able to get a couple, in fact, actually doing some damage, but Steel peeks back out, finishes him off, and now Nitro, no armor, CZ to play with. Not really expecting to see too much. Actually gone rotating over towards the A site, but you can see Immortals after that initial push have just slowed down. They don't want to walk into this pistol.
Yeah, don't give Nitro a chance. Now, at some point, you don't want to keep taking one-on-one duels. You want to gather up and just trade them out. For now, they're just going to kind of hold angles and wait for Nitro to push. They have plenty of time to kind of, make Nitro uneasy. Been spotted now by Lucas as well. Being patient with the trigger as well. Not even giving Nitro the slightest hint that they know where he is, but they definitely know what's going on now.
It's all going to come down to just that little bit of timing.
Hello.
Worst possible. That's something that will make you jump out of your chair. Nitro finished off, and the bomb in the meantime was already going over towards B. So it was never in contention that round. But here is the
don't always expect jump scares to be in Counter-Strike, but that certainly is one of the rare occasions where it can be. Like, am I playing Outlast 2 or am I playing CSGO? I'm not really sure now. Only could have frightened him, but what is frightening is this comeback effort from Immortals. I thought they were well out of this game, and now all of a sudden, we're in a tight race here at the end.
Yeah, so much so that Liquid have actually called themselves a tactical pause. So going to take some time to actually switch things up. They did actually save an extra round just to make sure they have everything in play, WP onto JDM. Is there anything in particular that you feel they need to be changing?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I think that they've obviously just got caught in a bad way the last few rounds because their economy's been so in disarray. That they went for a force that didn't work. It kind of made them have to save a couple of rounds. So I think that's been the biggest problem is just, their economy. Because, I mean, they were on quite a run there, right? Between rounds 2 and, 5 of this half. They won 4 out of those 5 rounds. So they're doing great. They just eventually kind of got tapped out. So I don't think that they've really done anything wrong other than run out of money. Obviously, handling banana exchanges is always going to be a big point of contention. We talked about that in the pregame, so maybe trying to figure out, do we want to maybe get it more heavy-handed there, maybe actually use some utility? It looks like they want to go WAWP. That's their answer. They're going to have Nitro with the AWP at banana, and they're going to keep JDM at middle per usual. So that is the adjustment that they've called for in the timeout.
Heavy utility usage as well early on. In this round, actually going to be the coffin spot. Actually, no, that's a different play. He's going to be just playing over towards sort of Crep. It's just waiting for them to try and push in, holding the angle towards Banana, but very passively held. I was expecting after the deep smoke, maybe some aggression to come out from the CT side, and I think the T's did as well. They're just waiting patiently to see if anybody is down at the moment.
Now, I haven't seen Liquid's most recent Inferno games, like maybe the last 2 times they've played it, but when I was watching them play it a little bit further back, double AWP was not something they broke out very often on the CT side, if at all. Like, I've very rarely seen Nitro have an AWP at Banana. Usually if there was an op at Bananas because JDM was kind of rotating over there because he does like to move around. So this may catch Immortals off guard. To see 2 ops is probably not something they're going to be very familiar with against Liquid.
A hit looking inevitable already. A decent position from Steel, in fact, getting himself deep into the apartment's area. And the rest of the team are just gathering up towards this mid shot, jumping straight in. They've only got 30 seconds to play with, leaving it pretty late into the round. JDM is going to hit that first shot. Actually flicks straight back, spots steal, but Lucas on the entry is able to trade things back to a 4 versus 4. Another for steal as well. And while this has just crumbled in a matter of seconds as the Brazilians have completely dominated this A site.
They really have. This was like a clear-cut round where it was going to be a full battle. Liquid didn't have any excuses. They had everything at their disposal. And this is where I feel like Immortals have really finally proven themselves in this half. Yeah, sure, they've been on quite the winning streak. They've been against a lot of low buys. This time, they went head-to-head with full firepower, and Immortals were just the better team on the round, winning all their duels, breaking through lane. Yeah, JDM got the one AWP pick, but that was really all that they found in the round. All lost a really key fight in middle against Bolts. That got really awkward. Maybe if he wins that, things go a bit differently. At least Liquid have some type of foothold into a retake, but it did not come to be. And so now we have a tie game. So Immortals have really been popping off lately, and now we have ourselves a tight race.
Yeah, I suppose the one advantage of having a double op setup is it means that they can just throw one straight over to JDM, and Nitro will actually have enough to buy up another rifle. Imagine they're going to go for something in this round. It seems like they definitely have the cash to do so, and yeah, in fact, it will go over, but actually they're not going to fully invest. They're not going to risk it. Even with 2 surviving, they could have dropped 1 bot up at UMP, but they've decided they want to have all the goodies going into the next round.
Yeah, this would have been one of those things where, yeah, sure, Nitro saved armor and he could have bought a rifle, but then he would have had no utility. And utility is so important to have in full gun rounds, especially on that side of the map. So instead, they're just going to kind of take a save. They'll get some upgraded pistols and half armor, but they're going to make sure they can get a full buy in the next round. Everything that they could want. So not a bad call from Liquid. They still have enough to work with to perhaps still get the win if JDM or Leash pops off or a deagle shot lands from Stanislaw or something like that. Still will scare you around the fight against if you're Immortals. Point.
Does look like gathering up as a team again. It seems to be more of that sort of factor. In the earlier rounds, they were definitely going for more of like a hold on, like try and take round the arch side and really pincer together. But in the last few, they've just been gathering up as a team, working those trades effectively. Nitro will be up close, looking like it'll be a 1-for-1. And again, it's going to be all onto Elige, and he gets absolutely nothing done. Stan rotating in, only has a deagle to play with, so may as well try and get something into this next round. But I wonder if JDM's just going to look to save, because the chances are dwindling of them coming away with anything in this round. And Penny's just going to absolutely decimate him, and Stan will go down as well. So 14-13, 4 players surviving once again for Immortals. And, well, now the buy comes back in, but it could be the last on the board for Liquid.
Really well done by Immortals there, just kind of cracking through all of that, particularly just taking over B with ease. And yeah, I think JDM was definitely looking to save the AWP, no doubt about that. He was actually holding a pretty safe angle, but Henry just hits a nasty shot, so it just doesn't matter. He's just in that type of form right now in this half where everything seems to be clicking for him. Lucas is doing incredible work as well. He's had a lot of entries on this. So, I mean, Immortals are really starting to find their footing here. They've won now the last 6 rounds in a row. Liquid do go back to AWP, but a lot of their money's in this round. This is their big chance. Immortals can clear them out here. They have a great chance just to go ahead and win, because Liquid will be pretty low on funds in the next round if they lose here. Look at this, Lucas just slipping through. I don't even think they realize what he's done.
Yeah, they're so busy actually setting up a boost of their own that, this could just be absolutely horrific, because now JDM's gone back to actually holding off this spot. They have absolutely no idea that he's just snuck all the way through. This is just absolutely horrible for them. And, well, Nitro's going to be spotted. That'll be 1 player down. I think that's going to be a surprise for them. And now only 1 player left again. Elige on the site to try and deny them this push. He's going to spray away. Does damage, but can't quite connect. JDM will be able to get one on the cross. Of course, no smoke actually down. It's been missed by quite a margin once again. I think that actually helps them get that first kill, but other than that, it has been a bit of a bane for them. Twist pushing back in. It's not been his game today, and he will be out of the round as well. And 15 is looking so inevitable at this point. JDM needing someone to make a mistake, and they're just peeking 1 by 1, just trying to bait him out. Lucas will connect. Another triple kill for him, and Stan, I think, has no choice but to fall back.
Lucas has just been so on point. It hasn't even just been the aim. It's also just been his intuitive senses, like finding the correct timing window to peek or push something has been incredible. Like we saw that one round, remember, at Banana, where he peeked before the smoke goes down on CT spawn. He gets like a good timing on someone in B in awkward space. And in that round, he slips through arch somehow. It just so happened to be that Liquid had a little bit more focus on lane for just a few seconds, and that was the few seconds that Lucas chooses to skate up and just waltz into CT spawn completely under the noses of Liquid. And he just absolutely secures that round for his team. And now we see the repercussions. Liquid, they scraped the bottom of the barrel to put together a buy, but it's obviously not so appealing. They put a lot of money into that double AWP. It hasn't paid off. Now they're just on FAMAS and UMPs.
Look at the damage already done. That nade. Oh, goodness. Bolts. Just looking to finish this here and now. It's been 7 rounds in a row on the T side for Immortals. Now looking to finish this off with round number 8.
What a comeback from Immortals. It's been so well played. Again, I put a lot of credit to Lucas. He's played so well throughout this game. Obviously, some of the others have also had quite the form as well. As Lucas tries to finish it off, but Stanislaw has a nice little boost there. Does, in fact, get the kill. So Liquid aren't out of it just yet. They still could force an OT. They can connect these 2 rounds. Bolts begins to ease his way into B. Flash coming through to help him in. Does get caught with a boost, but still Immortals making headway, and now they have it.
Dan and Twist. The last hope for this CT side. Dan even quite far behind. In fact, on this retake, they don't have a kit to play with. There is a hell of a lot to do if they want anything. And I think Twist just hoping someone's going to push into his crosshair while he waits for his teammate. But I think even they know that this is just not going to be happening again. Henny lined up with the AWP will finish off these remaining